Welcome to this first episode of my new format Behind the Art, where I will invite the most interesting and talented artists from the 3D and visual effects space and more. Together, we will take a behind the scenes look and dive into their workflow, tips and tricks, and their take on different topics. For every episode, there will also be a live Q&A session in the end for my subscribers on School. I created that community to support my free tutorials and interviews here on this YouTube channel. But also, if you want to get better and progress faster, you can get guidance there from me and also more exclusive tutorials and courses. Check out the first link in the description. For those who don't know, I'm Florin, and I've been doing 3D for over 4 years and worked with big clients like Marshmallow, Medicine Beer, and more. And I've also built up a big following on Instagram by posting my animations. With that out of the way, let's get started with the interview. For this first interview, I have the one and only Aesth Render with me. He's a really talented artist and he creates these stunning aesthetics, animations, and artworks. And this allowed him to grow over 60,000 followers on Instagram. And yes, I'm so glad to have you. Welcome.
Hi, how you doing? Thanks for
Thank you
having
so
me.
much for accepting the invitation.
You're welcome. It's
Yes,
my pleasure.
I'm really looking forward what you will share today. And I'm really interested, your take on 3D. And I'm also looking forward to the behind the scenes you will show us. And yes, let's get straight to it. So I remember, I think it was in October or maybe November when I saw your first reel in my feed. I think it was like the man with the orange glasses looking around, and there's like flying cars above him and everything. And
Yeah,
when I saw it, it was like immediately it stood out from the other artworks. And I think I'm not the only one because I think many people liked it. And yes, and then I think I texted you to do a collab someday, and
yeah.
a few months later, um, last week we just released it. And yes, so I'm really looking forward to this interview today. And yes, maybe you can also quickly tell a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Like I said, thanks for having me, man. It's my pleasure, fully. I think from the moment I started doing 3D, I started stuff too. I was like, that's crazy. And then, yeah, I think now a year and a half later, we did a collab. It's pretty insane. But yeah, I'm Lars, also known as Est. Um, the name is something else. It's short for aesthetics, which is yeah obvious. Then I
Nice.
really try to put that as my main focus in my artworks, I think. Especially since I used to do music a lot in the beginning, before 3D, and always was searching for artworks and all those things. And this one special, like for me at least, look of an artwork like cover would be this really dark dystopian scene with like the neon signs and all those things. And it always had like a special place in my heart, like it made me feel some sort of way. And I think whenever I tried to do 3D for the first time, I was like, that's what I want to build to. Like that's what I want to gravitate towards. And yeah, it's kind of working out. I really like
Hmm.
the workflow, like the
Nice.
program. Blender is something really special if you think about it. Like you can do so much, build so many worlds. Yeah, it's for sure something nice.
Yes, that's also something I really love. Like you can create anything you can imagine, which is so cool. Like for me, I started out with filmmaking, which is also really cool. But then you always have like to build a set or to go somewhere exciting in the world or wherever. But in 3D, you can like just create whatever you can imagine.
Yeah,
Like the
exactly.
only thing you have to do is obviously learn a software and get better. But yes, that's really interesting.
You do have to get better indeed. I think
Yeah.
the first time opening Blender is like it's like you don't know what's happening to you. You're so overwhelmed, like so
Yeah.
many buttons, so
Yeah.
many options. Like you can paint, you can draw things, you can sculpt things, you can
Hmm.
create like all sorts of like weird shapes with like easy tools, let's say. But yeah, I think starting out is the hardest part and being
Hmm.
consistent and
Yeah. Do
keeping
you remember when the first time was when you opened up Blender? Like how many
the
months or years
first
ago?
time I actually opened Blender was like 5 years ago when it was like the old version. I opened it one time. I just had a
Yeah.
PC. I saw someone doing Blender stuff on
Hmm.
YouTube. I was like, Blender, what's Blender? And then I opened it and I tried to like my graphics card and all that, all my components weren't the way it should be. So everything just crashed immediately. I remember like finding like this free tutorial like project file. I opened it, didn't work at all. Didn't even open, I think. So I just opened the default queue. Um, yeah, I was so overwhelmed. I think it took me 5 minutes to close it and never think about it again. And
Mhm.
then 3 or 4 years later, um, in June 2022, I think, I really wanted to make an animation for a song I made. And I was just Googling. I was home because I broke my finger and I was like, yeah, okay, I need to find something to do in these weeks that I'm home.
Mhm.
And I remember ending, I think I started with Ducky 3D, like the first tutorial.
Nice.
And yeah, I followed it like it was a 10-minute tutorial. It took me 5 or 6 hours to finish it,
Mhm.
which ended up great. Like it looked good in my opinion. And yeah, from that moment on, I just did tutorials every day, and I kept going. And at some point, I was like, this really is more rewarding, let's say, than making music for me.
Mhm.
So I was making music for 5 years. But my main issue with music is to create everything from scratch and try to get it my own, you know? Um, and with 3D, I kind of found out like you don't have to do everything from scratch.
Mhm.
Like you can use assets, you can use all different kind of shaders that are free to grab online. And that really motivated me to make more and more stuff on a consistent basis than just doing, let's say, music and trying to make a song every month. Because then most of the time you're just trying to make a song or trying to work on a song, but it's already
Mhm.
finished. You just add things that are not even necessary. So it's yeah, it's tough. But with 3D, it just all went very smooth, and the progress was like I was more rewarded, let's say, by everything that I was doing
Mhm.
immediately. Maybe because it's visual, maybe because it's uh, I don't know, an open source program, like
Yeah. Yeah.
especially with Blender. There's so many different tutorials and like everywhere you can find information on how to do something, like Reddit, YouTube, even Facebook, I think. So it's wild.
What, like you mentioned the Docker 3D tutorial, which is awesome in the beginning because you can like really fast with a 10 minutes tutorial you create
Yeah.
some really cool stuff. Um, so my question is like, how did you get from this motion graphic style to these like realistic aesthetic animations you do now? Like, what kind of, maybe you have some good tutorials, or maybe like, or what was like the process like of this transition?
The main transition was render time, especially back in the day. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa! I remember I tried to render out this really simple animation, um, from Decky 3D, and I think I rendered it on my CPU, which was a bad CPU. So it took like at least 17 or 18 hours for like
Hmm.
maybe 100 frames. And I was like, whoa, this takes so long. And I never really thought about it. And then I just said like, I'm not gonna do animation anymore. I'm just gonna make a still. I'm gonna make an image.
Hmm.
I think Ducky did like a Beeple kind of render too, and that's
Ah.
one of the first uploads as well. Um, that tutorial I combined with some other different things. But I was like, okay, nice. I can make one picture maybe a day, and try to push it that way.
Yeah.
Um, but I didn't do one every day. Like I just every Sunday I would like work in Blender like once a week maybe, and then a week later I would do another one. So my first uploads were like every week once. And it was something. Like the first uploads were
Hmm.
not the best, but they were fun. Like I really enjoyed them. Um, and then yeah, slowly I think I found out about Bolek, Bolek 2D, the guy with the towers, like the fog war.
Hmm.
Um, really great stuff, and I always like felt like those cinematics, because for me it was really cinematic, like how it looked, were really cool to achieve, and I tried to recreate some of those. Never really succeeded, but I really knew like that sort of way I wanted to go with.
Hmm. Nice.
Um, and then I just started focusing like on different styles, different people. Um, I think a week or a month later, I found out about Max Hay, who also has
Hmm.
like great stuff. Everything looks
Yeah,
so pretty,
definitely.
so dystopian, or so futuristic at least. And that really gave me like a boost to like see like, okay, if you can make this with Blender, I really wanna get to know this program better. Um, so yeah, I think around a week or a month later, he posted his first tutorial as well. So really, along the way, those really helped me to grow quickly.
Oh
Because
yeah,
every
yeah, on
time
YouTube.
I had a yeah exactly. 'Cause every time I had a question, he would like kind of by accident like upload something about that topic. I'm like,
Nice.
whoa, like especially like the wet
Yeah.
concrete. So like, because wet
Hmm.
concrete does
Yeah.
so much. Like if you think about it, like everything looks so much better with reflections.
Hmm.
Especially like from a film standpoint, I think you would know too. Like
Yeah,
in
but like also sometimes in film they make the street wet on
yeah, exactly.
purpose
Yeah,
so they get like more contrast.
yeah. I think in
But
every scene I
yeah.
did, I have wet concrete in some sort of way. Just to
Nice.
it looks nicer, especially at night. Daylight renders are not really my thing. I try to do those once in a while, but
Hmm.
never really succeed, or not the way I want them to be.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I think that's how I got from Ducky 3D to stills, dystopian stills. Which I mean, I like
Nice.
animations too, but I think I always do a still and then I animate it.
Mm.
I never make something like the animation in mind. I mean, I might think about something, but it's mostly like the still, and then I'll take everything I have in the
Okay.
scene
Yeah.
and try to figure out like what can I animate, what can I do with this. So yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
a really cool concept. I don't know like how many do it on Instagram, but I don't think I know anyone else. But it's so cool to see you create like an image and then a few days later you upload an animation of the same image,
yeah,
which is like such a cool concept because it brings it to life on a way like on another level,
it
which is
does.
so
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I think I started doing it with the helmet guy. Is that like with the visor?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and then from then on, I try to do it. I mean, I don't
Ah, yeah.
always animate it. It's like if it has potential, I'll do it. Otherwise, I'll just
Yeah,
start a new scene.
definitely. Yeah.
But it also creates like a really cool um, gap in between upload times because I kind of try to stick to like a I don't do every days, but I do like every other days. I always
Hmm.
call them. I try to upload every other day, and then if I make a scene and the same day I might already have the scene done, and then I can see like okay, can I animate this? And then I have 2 more days to work on the animation. Is that day I
Hmm.
upload, and
Yeah.
then 1 day gap, and then the other
Nice.
day. So it really gives me like some breather because it can be hard to like focus on Instagram and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fun like in some sort of way, but it's never really the goal to I mean of course it's a goal to grow on Instagram. It's
Hmm.
never like my priority to like my priority is still like to enjoy art and to do the
Yeah,
things I love.
definitely. And I think that should always be like the main priority.
Yeah,
And I also, I think like obviously it also helps you because if you can post an animation like once or twice a week, like with Instagram pushing reels a little bit
yeah,
more than
yeah.
images, it also helps. Um, but still, like for me, it's still impressive that you're able to create like every other day something really stunning. So, what do you would you say is like the secret to create high quality, but still on a regular basis in your free time?
I think um it's learning Blender in the right way, I would
Hmm.
say. Like just you can always like I make similar scenes like I think personally like they're always like some sort of like the same vibe or slightly different. But it's also because I have the same workflow. I always do the same thing. I
Hmm.
start with the ground plane and I add things on top, and then I add the lights, and then I see how it looks, and then basically most of the scene is done. But it's more about like having a composition that works or like that I like, having the lights look the way I want them to look, like to create
Hmm.
a specific mood. And as long as you try to stick to the same workflow, I think you'll always have a scene pretty quickly, especially with like the things I do, because if you try to like do a fluid sim or if you try to
Yeah.
rig a character or any of those things, yeah, it's way harder to do 3D than
Hmm.
just throw things in it, do composition. It's like actually building a scene quickly, put a camera in, put a nice angle, take a picture,
Hmm.
go on with the day, you know. Yeah, it's some workflow. I don't know if it's the best one, but I like to do it that way. And also
Nice.
like
Yeah.
it's a nice principle to have like a consistent um time in the day to work on. Like during the day I go to work.
Hmm.
In the evening or in the morning I try to work on my 3D stuff. which can be time consuming. Yeah, but then also like it's this routine. I really like to come home, eat some food, maybe watch a show, and
Mm.
then after that I just focus on 3D for four
Nice, yeah.
hours. And then every time at work, I'm also like looking forward to that. Like it's a great way to end the day. Like you did something
Mhm.
productive, you can go to bed. The morning you wake up, you feel like nice. I
Yeah,
did
and
that
it's all
yesterday.
yeah.
Uh, so
It's
it's
also so much more rewarding when you go to bed and know you created something
yeah,
instead of like
exactly.
when
Yeah,
you just like spend time on TikTok or whatever.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Because before I did 3D, I used to play games like everyone.
Mhm.
But then sometimes you would like come home from work or like school back in the day, and you would just come home, start like playing games, go to bed playing games. You're like, whoa, I just played games for 5 hours and I didn't really do
Yeah.
anything nice. I just played games, which yeah can be different like mentally.
Mm.
So for me, it's also like a yeah mental health thing, like to do something nice and feel good about myself. And yeah, it's like going to the gym almost.
Yeah, definitely. But for me, this was also a struggle. Like especially when I started out, but like the decision between okay, I can play games and have fun, or I can do 3D, which is also fun, but you will also have struggles and you will also have hardships and so on.
Yeah,
So what is like your tip, or how were you able to overcome this, that you can now say okay, like most of the time I will decide for 3D because I know because I know it gives me like the better feeling afterwards, and also because it's what I love to do. But yeah, in the end, like gaming or watching Netflix or whatever might give you more dopamine. But
yeah.
yes, like just how do you
I
overcome this kind of decision
for me,
every
I
day?
noticed like especially in the weekends,
Mm-hmm.
if I would wake up at like 10 in the morning and I had nothing to do all day, I would sometimes like start the game, start playing,
Mm-hmm.
and indeed you get like very quick serotonin, or however you call it. Um, and then whenever you want to like switch and go to 3D, it's like it doesn't happen because you're not getting the same rewards every second, you know. So I set a rule for myself, like every time I want to make, or I still have to make a scene, I only do 3D first until it's done, and then afterwards I can play
Nice.
games.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I would quit. Like even if I
Mm-hmm.
play games, do 3D, I would quit or rage quit even, like if it's not working out. Normally I would have patience, and before playing games, it never happened. Like it always went south in some way or form. Yeah. So yeah, just do the thing you want to do first, and then play games. That's
Yeah,
how I do it.
that's so good. It's like I would say for me it was very similar because it's like the lie that you tell yourself, okay, come on, I have enough time, I can play some games and then
Yeah,
I
and
can do
then
3D,
2 hours
right?
are gone, and you're like, oh,
And
yeah,
then, but like once you start the game, it's really hard. Maybe if you
yeah,
get really frustrated, but most of the time you won't switch.
yeah,
But if you start, like sometimes, just tell yourself, okay, let's do 15 minutes of 3D and then I can play games. And
yeah. It will.
once you start the software and once you get into it, you see, okay, actually it's fun, and you will continue and maybe spend more, like an hour or two, three, four. And then, yeah, in the end, it's just so way more fulfilling. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think whenever you start the creative process first, there's almost no way you're gonna quit after 10 minutes and go to the game
Mhm.
already. Um, unless you're really not feeling it, like you did like a week of grinding or 2 weeks of grinding, and then you're like, oh, okay, maybe I do need a break, and then you do need a break. You can't always work like 100%, you
Mhm.
know. And that's okay. Like I think I noticed whenever I felt like I was burned out, I just need you just need to stop. Like there's no way of over
Mhm.
pushing yourself. But then on the other way, like you can. Like I feel like some people are like, yeah, I have a creative block or however you would call it. It's I think it's a flow state that just didn't arrive yet. Whenever you push through it and you feel like, okay, maybe I'll try 10 minutes more or like 50 minutes more. Whatever comes after those 50 minutes will probably be like the flow state, and you'll probably
Mhm.
feel like you will and you want to finish this piece immediately. Um, and as long as you don't push yourself towards those, you will always stay stuck in the creative block or whatever you call it. So yeah, that's. that can be a challenge for sure. Then if you feel like you
Mm.
mentally don't want to do it today, then don't do it today. Like do it in the evening maybe, or just. But I always try to put in a little bit of work every day, and you will be consistent. Sure. And you will grow super quickly as well.
Mm.
That's the main.
Yeah, it's nice that you just like started this topic because it's also something I want to talk about, like the whole creative block and procrastination and
Yeah,
stuff. Because I get many messages, hey, how to overcome a creative block, or what is like, or even like, where do you get your inspiration from? And I think that would also be like would be really interesting for me to hear from you, like especially um, because you post very frequently and you also create very different creative artworks. Like, where do you get your inspiration from, and how do you get new inspiration? What do you do if you know you have to post something, but you just can't think about something or an idea? Like, does that even ever happen to you? And yeah, how do you overcome it?
yeah, it sure does. I think the main inspiration for me is like Instagram, like a
Hmm.
lot of stuff I see pass by, and then Pinterest. I think the nice thing about Pinterest is the algorithm. It really like if you use it a week or so and you
Hmm.
click the images you like, it really knows what you want and what you like and what you want to make. Um, so I think that's one of the biggest sources. But then again, mostly it's reposts from Instagram, right? Um, and then also like real life. If I see a nice building or if I see a street that looks really
Nice.
cool, I would
Yeah.
definitely like keep those in mind or take a picture and be like, okay, I want to recreate this sport. Um, yeah, it's tough. Like inspiration can be really something. It's for me the hardest part was like to get an inspiration and trying to not fully recreate it like exactly, you know. Some
Hmm.
people did like for example, you see a complex building, you're like, okay, I want to model this building. Like probably there's no way you're gonna be able to model that building
Yeah.
exactly, you know. Especially when you're starting out, like it's gonna be super tough. Like me personally, I don't really
Hmm.
model a lot at all. It's more like assets like kit badge and big, medium, small, and then try to combine those two and create something new. But even then, like if you want to get a composition just exactly the same, it will probably not even look the same because you won't have the same focal length, you won't have the same light sources.
Hmm.
Everything will be different unless you really are able to recreate it fully. So always use 3 or 4 images, combine them, and try to make like the best piece you think you
Nice.
can make. So yeah, that's my main thing. Yeah, how about you? How do you do your inspiration and stuff?
I would say really similar. Like, also on Instagram, but also like on Instagram sometimes it's kind of hard because you also get many like trashy reels or posts which will distract you.
Yeah,
Something I like to do is to, like, one big inspiration are definitely movies,
yeah,
or like really cinematic movies, or also, but also like certain creators I follow. And then, like, when I have some kind of creative block, I like to just like empty my head, maybe take a walk, maybe go into the nature or whatever. Um, because sometimes I feel like in today's time, you're scrolling, you're having YouTube, you're having music, and so on, and it's always like input, input, input. And
yeah,
for me, it really helps to go somewhere quiet, and then suddenly something new will pop to my head. Yeah.
yeah. True. Like I feel also about the creative block and the inspiration. Like whenever you work with music, always tend
Mhm.
to have like a playlist or like mostly like a mix on YouTube, like one
Yeah,
of those
that's
2 hour
that's
thingies.
also a good tip. Yeah.
Because whenever you're too involved in like choosing the right song or switching in between songs, it's every 2 minutes or 3 minutes you want to pick another song because the next one
Mhm.
doesn't really fit your vibe. Then it really like for me at least, it gets me off guard because I would always like refocus on Spotify and be like, oh wait, I have to switch this. And every time I did that, I would snap out of the flow state.
Yeah.
So if you have like this
Yeah.
long mix, like you would be working on something and somehow like this advertisement started again. Like, whoa, has it been 2 hours? Like, yeah, okay, well, it's been 2 hours. Wow,
Mhm.
that's a big difference as well. And the same goes for YouTube. Like, whenever you watch like the YouTube shorts, you can really get distracted so quickly because like you have this and this and this and this, and every 5 seconds it's like something new. Whenever you like maybe
Mhm.
put like a background like some woodworking guy, like 5 hour video, you probably won't even look at it or listen to it. It's there and it's like a fidget spinner. It just happens and yeah, it's pretty nice. Long
Yeah,
formats.
definitely. Um, yeah, and like something maybe we can go to it next that would be really interesting to me is I think you also grew really quickly on Instagram. And for me, it's like on one side, it's definitely like the high quality work you upload and the stuff you upload because it's really good. Um, but what would be interesting, I think, do you have like anything other you do to help promote your art or to help or to optimize, like maybe, like I would say definitely that you post frequently, but do you have like anything else, or did you just wake up someday and like one video had many views?
Yeah, it's kind of like that actually.
Okay, nice.
I think for the first year I did art, like I started in June 2022. So now it's
Hmm.
yeah, May 2024. So yeah. The first year
Nearly 2 years. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The first year was super dead.
Hmm.
Like I would just the first half year I would do like every week one upload maybe. And then I started taking it seriously around January 2023, I think. And I was like actually going in and like every day I would work on it.
Hmm.
I wouldn't upload every day, but I would work on it every day. And then around March, I would push it to like every day or every other day uploads. I think that's when I started.
Nice.
And then from that point on, um, it really went quickly because in May I had 500 followers, 2023, and then August I think I reached 1K. I was like, whoa, I did it! Like wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, I never really did it for the following, but it's really nice
Hmm.
to see something grow, and especially like my friends as well. Like
Definitely. Yeah.
everyone was growing super quickly out of nowhere. It's like whoa. And I think a little before, I think October somewhere, whenever you saw the reel with
Hmm.
the visor,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I never had any reel go above 10K,
Hmm.
like 10K views. So my following was also like maybe I had like 2,000 followers back then. Since August, so it's like a little like 3 or 4 months. Um, and one night I did the visor reel, and then 3 or 4 days later, I suddenly get like really flooded with notifications. I'm like, what's going on? And I look and I'm like,
Yeah.
I keep refreshing it, like the reel kept going up. And out of nowhere, I was like, whoa, this is going crazy quick. Um, and I think by the evening that day, I had like 100K plays. I was like, whoa, never happened to me. And then from that point on, like following kept growing really quickly. I think 2 weeks later, I had like 5,000 followers. Like, whoa, that's wild. And 2 weeks later, again, I had 10K followers. I was
Hmm.
like, whoa. And it just kept going and going. And yeah, right now we're at 63, I think, which
Yeah.
is just insane to think about. It's not like a million, you know, but it's a lot for me. Like I really think it's wild, and I'm super grateful for Instagram.
Hmm.
There's no real tactic. It's just like having
Okay.
luck with
Yeah.
the algorithm, I think.
Nice.
Because whenever I see so many people post super sick stuff,
Hmm.
and they don't really get picked up by the algorithm. And even though they're way better art, like way better artists than me,
Hmm.
they just don't get pushed by it. And maybe it's because I take more time to upload something,
Hmm.
um, which is kind of unfair. But these days it's all about quantity over quality, unfortunately. So yeah, I
Yeah.
try to stick with the same
Hmm.
workflow and try to get the same type of content every week or every 3 times a week, 4 times a week. That really works for me. So yeah,
Hmm.
I might step away from it into like bigger projects
Hmm.
on the side as well and still do the main more basic uploads
Nice.
because I
Yeah.
really want to get into modeling and decent animation and stuff.
Hmm.
So we'll see.
Yeah, but still, I think one big like I can remember when I watched the video.
Hmm.
I think I went to your account, and I think when I started following you, you were right around 10K. You just reached 10K, I think, because I
Yeah.
can remember your 10K follower post,
Yeah.
or maybe
Go with the
even a little
tower.
bit before. And I was like, wait, how does this guy with under 10K followers post such an amazing like artwork? Like, of course, or for me, it was just like, bro, this is insane. he deserves more followers,
Yeah.
and I think many other people thought that too. And it's one thing to get lucky and get many views on the reels, but the people actually for follow, I think they really have to enjoy it and they have to like your stuff. So yeah, I think that's also like a big part.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Like just the artwork
We should try.
itself, yeah, definitely.
That's cool. I think it's also like the assets. They like big, medium, small, for example. Such a
Yeah.
good quality. Like everyone in the team does a great job at like modeling those, and they release kits quite often. Even I think
Hmm.
not like Kit Bash, but it's different. Like big, medium, small is super detailed. They
Yeah.
have so many like grunge textures on top of it. Kit Bash is a little bit more clean. You can do whatever you want with it. But
Hmm.
those really help me to push out content really quickly. Um, yeah, it's the algorithm, man. Like I think once you're picked up,
Yeah.
it's super easy to like keep the momentum going if you
Hmm.
post consistently. Because like
Hmm.
if you don't do that, yeah, it will just die off immediately. You know, like if you post once, it goes to like let's say a million plays, and you don't post for 2 months, yeah, it has nothing to regenerate. It's
Hmm.
even if it's like
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
I'll go for it.
Sorry.
No, it's fine, it's fine.
um, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to get more into your workflows and the assets use and everything. Just in a moment, where you can also share your screen and show us a
Yeah,
little
sure.
bit. But I think like the last question I want to ask is, how do you balance, like you said before, to create like new animations every second day or artworks? Um, you just mostly use the same setup
Yeah.
or like different techniques. So how do you balance to post everything like every second day and have like you like create it as efficient as possible, but also having um, some space to learn new things and some time like put in, or also reserve some time to actually learn new things, because that's the stuff that always takes the longest. So like obviously you can't learn 100 new things on one reel because then it would take forever.
Yeah.
But also, or like for me, I always want to learn something new to like make progress. So yeah, I'm just wondering like how do you balance these two factors? Yeah.
I think for me it's more like my friends online, like
Mm-hmm.
for example in Discord, like I'm always in a specific Discord. Um, and it's super fun because it's like a group of people and we all get together like almost every day. But they always like everyone does something else, but also the same thing, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
whenever I'm working on something, they're also working on something. And they would show me like these crazy new GeoNode setups or these new add-ons and these plugins. And
Nice. Yeah.
whenever I see them work, they give me like some inspiration to or try that thing as well. And whenever I have a question, they also like are there to like help me out super quickly. And I think since I joined those Discords or like that
Mm-hmm.
Discord, things also start to go like uphill really quickly because you have immediate feedback. You have actual like they judge your work in a good way. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
one thing to get critiqued by online people where you're always like, or they're like really praising you like this high because like, yeah, that's a really nice piece, or they're like being really downers and like, oh, this is just shit. But uh, out of both, you don't get anything.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
some people like they just bring you down, and other people like they try to praise you. And if you like have a middle ground and like this clean filter of people just being honest with you, that's the only way to grow, I think.
Yeah, and it's
Um,
also worth way more when you have
yeah,
someone
100%.
critiquing you that is like someone you know and someone you also know is good themselves or
Yeah,
has like some knowledge about the stuff you're doing. Yeah, that's definitely. I think having a community is so important,
yeah, 100%.
and
Yeah,
yeah, that's really interesting to hear.
it's
Um,
I think it's also important to know that not every critique should be listened to. Like,
mhm.
even if it's great feedback or great
Good
critique,
point. Yeah.
you don't have to push it in your scene. Like, I would be working with people on Discord and like tell them like, hey, this would be cool. Like, but I don't feel like they need to change it now. You know, like because that could be the thing. Like when someone tells you something, it's good to keep in mind, but you don't have to do it. Like if you feel like that's not the
Mhm.
right creative choice for you, then there's no way you should do it. But if you feel like, oh, that might really fit my scene, just do it and just replace it. But yeah, it's a big difference between like feeling forced to do things and being
Mhm.
open to things in the future maybe. So pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's a really good point. In the end, you also have to do what like you love and what you like, and
Yeah,
if you take their feedback into, yeah, like if you read it, if you're fine with it, but you just decide you like this or that composition more, yeah, you should definitely go with that.
yeah, like it's still your work, and
Mm,
no one else would be the judge
yeah,
of it. Like even if you think like,
yeah.
ah, this one would get me way more followers, like that's the stupid mindset, right? Like you have to be like, what do I like? Because at the end of the day, it's still gonna be your work and your portfolio that you build, you know.
Hmm.
And if you lean more towards the trends and all those things, like I know you like to follow trends. I do once in a while. Like, I would post like
Hmm.
these before and after viewport reels, for example, which is great. I like it, but also like it's all over the place at some point, you know. Like if you can pick it up like in the beginning, it's really fun because you will really blow up. But after a month, nobody really cares anymore. You know, it's like,
Bro,
yeah,
there's like this one sound.
ah, yeah,
Like I think you've used it too. I think
yeah,
I've used it too once,
yeah,
but it's so overused. Yeah, like at
yeah,
this point, yeah, like it
yeah.
also gets
So annoying.
annoying if they're like if the trends are
Yeah,
overused.
especially.
But yeah, that's also something that was so cool to me because like the first video you did that blew up, it also wasn't just a trend or just like some kind of like reel that was just doing great. It was like actually your own artwork,
Yeah,
your own animation, and I think that's so cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember editing the sounds like before choosing the song. Whenever I chose a song like in the reel section, like it all fit perfectly. Like the things would fly over and
Nice. Yeah.
the sound matched right. I was like, damn, that's lucky. And then I posted
So
it and
nice.
it
Yeah.
kind of blew up. That's also a thing. I think the sounds, like not only the trending music, but the sounds you add in the scene. Like I haven't done it like the last couple reels.
Hmm.
I want to do it more again, but that really brings something extra to the song or like to the sound. Since
Yeah.
you get that like these really um how do you say it, detailed textures within the sound. They
Hmm.
can really like be on top of the music as well. And
Yeah.
people would
That's a
also know
really good
like, hey,
point.
this is not the regular song.
Yeah.
Like let's look at it again. And then yeah, so
And
it's really nice
also,
to combine sound design as well.
like sometimes I get like reels, use this audio now to get viral,
Yeah,
and it's so like I think it makes definitely sense to maybe use a song people already know because then it's, yeah, I think like probably it's a good song if it's like more known, but in the end it should fit the reel. And as you said, like if you do some additional sound design, it can go a long way.
yeah,
And
it
it's
does.
like the
It does.
combination of this. Yeah. So actually, there's one more question before we go to the screen sharing that popped in
Yeah,
my
no
head.
worries.
And I was just wondering what was like the main reason you started your Instagram account? Because I know many people who do 3D but don't really post anything, or they just post like their best two works but are afraid to
Yeah.
post anything new. So yeah, what was like the,
Um,
or yeah.
I'm not sure why I started like this account
Hmm.
specifically. Because first I was gonna plan to do it on my personal Instagram account. I uploaded the first work there, and it got really well. Like a lot of people liked it, like from my following back then. Um, so I was like, yeah, I'll post more. And then I started thinking about like, do I want this to be something like it's still like I felt like it's my creative expression, let's say, and I wasn't sure like, do I want to share this with like all my friends and family for them to judge me? So then I kind of took like this random name that I felt like looked pretty cool. Um, I don't know why, but yeah, it's this one, the Aesth Render thingy.
It's
And I
nice.
just
Yeah.
posted it like, and yeah, it looks better than it sounds, to be honest. Um, but I just posted it there, so like I can just do my thing. I don't have to show it to anyone if I don't want to. Not all my friends and family can see the things I'm doing. Not like I was
Hmm.
doing like some weird stuff in 3D. I just made like my scenes, but it still allowed me to be more open and experimental with the
Hmm.
things I want to do, like without feeling like I'm being judged. 'Cause back then it was like 10 people following me.
Yeah, that's a
Like,
good
okay,
point.
yes,
Yeah.
that's nice. And then also like the Instagram really helps for me to push things like on a consistent basis. Like if I post something now, I want to keep it growing and keep
Hmm.
like if I make a schedule, for example, it's more like in the like whenever I did the every other day thingies. It would be a driver as well. Like because I kind of
Definitely.
want
Yeah.
to post for myself and if I don't post another one tomorrow, let's say, yeah, I'm gonna be disappointed in myself. So it's a good driver to push yourself to create things and be consistent. And it's more like dedication is not even the right word, I think, but it's like
Hmm.
you're dedicated to this one thing and you want to do it, and it's good for your mental health as well. Like it's a good workflow. It's a good I think people say grind set, but I don't like that word really. But yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
good.
definitely. It also holds you accountable to actually finish your projects.
Yeah, and don't
Because,
overthink it,
yeah,
especially. It's like
yeah,
sometimes it's like, okay, it's 2 in the morning now. I have to go to work tomorrow. I won't be able to work on it tomorrow because I'm up too late.
yeah.
Let's just finish it now.
Hmm.
Do the post in the morning, and then yeah, it's like it's a good thing to do things with less tools than all the tools.
Hmm.
Because if you know your basic, you will be better in the basics. And if you like know, let's say you have 20 add-ons you bought and you're like, wow, nice, I'm gonna build this crazy scene with all of these things. Like you probably won't build a scene at all because you're overwhelmed by all the add-ons. If you
Hmm.
just have like the basic, like one asset pack, for example, and let's say it's like I think for me it was like I bought the big, medium, small what's it called again? Industrial zone pack, which
Oh
is
yeah,
great.
yeah.
But I was really into like these alleyways and all those things. And I really try to, with the industrial zone, like try to recreate different types of scenes with the same assets. So you would be more focused on like just composition and making things look like things they're not really like they're not meant to be this, but you can use it as this, for
Hmm.
example. So it's more like a straight like you know what you have and you have to work with it instead of like, okay, I can just do everything I want and try to get where I need to be. It's not gonna happen. You have to focus with the things you have, I guess. So, if that makes
Yeah,
any sense. But,
definitely. Yeah, nice. But I would say let's take an actual look at some of your scenes and maybe also like how you, like what you're doing in post, and yeah, what assets do you use, what programs, what software, and yes, maybe you can share your screen real quick.
yeah, sure. Yeah, let's take a quick look at the scene I'll be showing you guys today. It's a recent one. It did really well as well on Instagram, so
Yeah, like
I think
this one is amazing. I
it's worth
also
to
saw
show.
many reposts in the stories. And
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, it's quite basic. I'm not sure if it's gonna start from
Mhm.
scratch or from the beginning. Yeah, it's this one.
Yeah, but it looks so interesting, and I like the light you added to the bus. It's
Yeah, I'll
so,
mute
yeah.
this up for a bit.
And
Yeah, it's
also, the sky is like daylight, but very hazy or like very
yeah,
foggy.
yeah. I'll
Um,
show you how I did that as well.
but it's
It's quite
still
easy.
clear at the same time. So
Yeah,
yeah, maybe you
true.
can show us how you did this
Yes, I
and
like
pull
the
up the
scene. It's
Blender file.
I wasn't expecting this to be like a good animation because I did like I
Hmm.
think in half an hour or something the animation itself. Because I was like, oh, it's already 2 in the morning. I just want to go to bed.
Hmm.
And then I did this, start the render, woke up, and it looked amazing. So I'm like,
And you already created a still of it first, right? You
yeah,
posted
exactly,
already.
exactly.
Okay, yeah.
Show this still. The show is in a different. The still is in a different aspect ratio though. Maybe let's pull it up to this one.
Oh yeah,
Way more post processing.
yeah.
Way more. Yeah, I tried to mimic it a little bit, but it's two different programs. So,
Yeah, let's
but
also get into that
I'll show
afterwards.
you. Yeah, I'll show you those later as But yeah. Let's switch the screen. Okay. So this would be my actual Blender screen. I normally
Nice.
work on a bigger screen, so it's kind of hard
Hmm.
for me to navigate, but it's fine. Like just maybe the basic layouts. I would have like my
Hmm.
3D world, like the viewport. I would have the shader editor here, so I can always like look at the materials and all those things.
Nice.
Then for animations, I always put like a graph editor on the
Hmm.
side, as well as a timeline on the bottom. And then on the right, I have like an outliner and the settings for the scene itself.
I really like that, and actually, like when we did the collab and you sent me the file, it was also set up like this, because I think default the outliner is above the setting, like
Yeah,
these.
yeah, it's a
I don't know
little
what this is
weird.
called, but especially if you have like many objects, it helps so much if it's like on the whole screen.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
This is
maybe you can give like a
oh
quick overview of this of the scene.
yeah, I will. Um, yeah, the whole view is like it looks so weird to be honest from like compared to the reel we just saw.
Mm.
Yeah, it's all about perspective and like
Yeah,
to
definitely.
save some space on my graphics card and li- like be kind to it. It's really important to work with only what you see
Mhm.
in the actual animation, I think. Oh yeah, by the way, this whole setup, like from the like if you want to know how to do this, like Max Hay has an exact tutorial on this template, I think. Because I think I copied it in the beginning
Oh,
when I
really?
started out 3D. And yeah, it's like you
Nice.
would have the render view on the side here, but
Mhm.
it
Oh,
really
yeah, I think I saw
it
that
speeds
too
up your
a long
workflow
time.
so quick because you don't have to
Yeah.
change like the top tabs, which is
Mhm.
great. Then on the other side, if you look underneath, there's a bunch of rubble. There's some cars that are flipped.
Yeah, way
The
more
same,
detailed.
yeah, the same building pack just copied like a bunch of times.
So,
Nobody ever knows.
yeah.
Yeah.
So do you like block out everything first and then like determine the camera angle and then work from there? So you only create details where the camera actually looks or what the camera actually looks at? Or how do you, um, yeah, how do you do that? Or
It
how do you
really
usually
depends.
start out?
With this scene,
Hmm.
especially, I started with the main asset I had from Kitbash. It's not even the scene anymore, but it was just like a bus stop. Um, and I tried to get a cool camera angle for that one. And
Hmm.
then I was like, okay, what I'm gonna add now? And I don't really block out with like actual blocks,
Hmm.
but I mostly just throw in some assets and see where they would fit. It's the
Yeah.
same as block out, but already detailed.
Hmm.
Um, some people like if they actually model stuff, they would do like the basic block out and then add the details later, which will save like time and also like GPU and like just in general,
Hmm.
like it would be more kindly on your PC, let's say. Um, but yeah, I just try to get a nice angle. I already start with the lighting from the beginning, especially if I look at the rendered view here, I take a little bit.
You have a 4070 Ti or
3070 Ti
3070?
indeed. Yeah.
Okay.
So
And
8 GB of VRAM. It's not
yeah,
a lot, but
it's,
it's enough if you know how to use it.
yeah.
Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
I have also 8 GB. And
it's
how much RAM do you have?
recently I upgraded to 64,
Okay,
which is
nice.
great. But I used to have 16 until
Yeah, same.
2 or 3 months ago, and it was like crashing every time. Like
Especially for high poly scenes, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Um, maybe I'll turn off this render view, like make it a little bit bigger.
Hmm.
There we go. So the general scene, it's a lot of lights,
Hmm.
but it's still pretty dark because of the shadow here mostly. I think I also have like
Oh yeah.
a shadow
So
catcher.
you have like one big light above.
I mostly like it's pretty basic. I can do like
Uh,
a little
hmm.
quick layout or like start a new scene quickly to see how you get the look quickly.
Hmm.
Um, maybe I'll do that after this. Um, yeah, I mostly start with an area lights. I would scale it up quite big to mimic, let's say, the moon. And then most of the time I just use one light um, for the whole scene, and then add like maybe one or two side lights depending
Hmm.
on what contrast I want to create or what kind of like. It's always really how do you say it? It's always
Individual,
really sorry.
like individual from every
Yeah,
project to the
individual as
next
well, but
project.
also
Yeah.
like I try to add lights with a specific reasoning. Like it has to
Hmm.
make sense.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't like to throw in like 20 lights and be like, okay, this one goes here and this one here. Like it doesn't work for me. I always want to keep it simple because if you think about it, like in real life, if you see something nice, it's always one light, the sun.
Yeah.
Or at night, it might be more lights, but it's mostly going to be or a street light or the moon
Hmm.
that really creates a vibe. And then it is always like these accents all over the place, which is really cool if you know what you're doing with it. But if it's like unintentional, it's going to be really chaotic really quickly. So yeah, if you look at the scene, especially here, the main thing in the screen is like this bus and
Hmm.
the car right here, together with the street um, traffic light. So what I did was to create like some accents, is get the light, like the secondary light, let's say, and I would just put the focus on this bus. Uh, Otherwise, it's super
Ah,
dark.
nice. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like it looks like it's coming from a store or maybe just from the sky in
Hmm.
the back.
Or like from
Um,
a sign or something
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
but that really pushes your focus to
Hmm.
this part, I would say, especially on the top as well. Because we as humans are really focused to contrast. if you have something really white and really dark, the eye is always going to go there. For some reason, I don't know why. But yeah, that makes sense. And then it's really basic. It's more like, I'll get out the render view. It's more like just a bunch of assets. Like if I look at the street assets I got from
Yeah, just
Kitbash,
get around.
it's yeah, most of them are just, oh, long list. They're just like basically just, it's all Kitbash, it's like back. So you just scatter things around, and it's really fun to create like this diverse, like chaotic world with a really peaceful lighting, let's say. Um, and assets are the way to go on that part. Like you can also model everything yourself, but it's gonna take a good month,
Yeah.
like at least. So yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
then
think in the end it's like what is most fun for you. And like for me, it's also more fun to create a scene and set a cool camera and a cool mood. I guess for you it's similar, but maybe some people also like to do a cool model.
yeah,
But yeah, like if you want to create like scenes like this and you don't want to spend an entire month on it, assets are definitely the way to go. And yeah, I
yeah,
think you already
100%.
mentioned like these wreckage assets are from Kitbash, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Kitbash
Yeah,
3D.
yeah. The
Okay,
new
nice.
kit. Yeah,
And you also mentioned big, medium, small before, right?
yeah. Um, I use them so much that I'm like, I'll use Kitbash for a bit because otherwise it's gonna be too much
Okay,
of
nice.
the same kit. I'm
Fair
really hyped.
enough.
They're
Yeah.
gonna release a warfare kit, I think, and after that one might be a cyberpunk type of thing I saw online. So I'm really hyped for the new releases, but it's gonna be somewhere next year, this year. I don't
Nice. Yeah.
know. But yeah, really cool. It saves me a lot of time, and it also like it sparks a lot of creativity as well. Because these
And the
buildings are
buildings?
so nice.
Sorry.
These
Yeah.
buildings,
Yeah.
it's also Kid Bash. It's
Okay.
the
Nice.
Future Slums, the first one, I
And you
think.
put them
Yeah,
like into a collection, right? Or
yeah.
you
So
and
to
then created
save
an
some,
instance. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. To save some, uh, yeah, to save my PC a little bit, I put them in a collection, and then I just instance that collection, which means like if you just copy paste them like Shift D, it's in Blender, it will make a new like a new version of it with like double the amount of polygons, let's say, in Blender. Which like if you do that like 5 times, it's gonna be super heavy super quickly. But if you make an instance collection, it's gonna just duplicate it without creating extra polygons or vertices, whatever. And it will be way more friendly. It's like it's just the same building and different like childs, let's say. So yeah, it's a nice way to work, especially if like a low-end PC. This will be
Yeah, it's definitely useful to
game
spare
changer.
some
Yeah.
resources.
And maybe to
Nice.
get into the lighting a little bit, but I might just pull up a new scene and create like a basic setup with the same buildings to give you like an insight on how quickly you can get a mood going with
Yeah,
certain things. But I'll recreate this scene sort of.
like a quick demonstration.
Yeah, it's gonna be easier
Yeah,
than
that's awesome.
breaking this down. Um, let's see. Okay, this is my basic setup, like a character, kind of in the middle. If I
Stretch
just,
default cube.
yeah, like let's say if I just paste in like the basic buildings here.
hmm
Um, I always try to like look at a nice camera perspective, right? Like if this basic light, we can just delete that basically. What I'm mostly tend to do is like change the resolution already, like or this one, like the wider one, or switch it around to like 1080, 3050, whatever works best for you. Like can be everything. And then let's keep this as our main piece, right? Change the floor a little bit to the back, so like a little street going on, just to show how easy you can actually create like different scenes and different light setups. If I select this guy, I just pinpoint a nice composition, kind of like this maybe, the bottom one. And then I have the instance collection. You just move it around like it's a street sort of. Maybe rotate this scale the other way. Oh, yeah. Hold up. This, let's say. And then now it's like I have this fog cube, which really like its volumetrics, they do so much. It's a really basic layout. Just
Mhm.
like one node and these settings, like
It's
then
like
it's
one
all
big
working.
cube and just apply this principal
Yeah,
volume
but it
material.
creates like the
Yeah.
haze or mist or however you want to call it. But it really works well with the light. I'll show you the example. Because if I go into the render view now, it's all gonna be black normally, like this.
Yeah, because you don't have
You
any
might see,
lights.
yeah. And if you just add a light, like an area light, like I do mostly, and
Mhm.
you scale it up a little bit, put it up, like without the cube. Without the cube, it will look super dark and flat, even with light. Let's say we put it to quite a high number, maybe a little bit too much. There we go. Like this, everything will look super
Yeah.
glossy. Like it doesn't look great, you know. Like
Mhm.
maybe get like this going. But once you enable the cube, like everything will have so much more depth. Camera needs a little bit more uh, clip start. I don't know how to call it. There we go. Like now you have like a foggy scene. The
Mhm.
color of the light is a little bit white. If you make it blue, you already get like a nice mood. And then you
Yeah,
just like
definitely. Yeah.
basically use the light to create nice angles. And boom.
Oh, it's crazy how much the
Yeah,
scene changes just from moving that one light. It's
exactly.
like a
Yeah.
completely different thing.
Yeah,
Can you
exactly.
move
Which
it
is
around some more?
yeah. Um it's great how things can look differently. Like for
Yeah, that's
example, if you
crazy.
want it
Yeah.
from the back, it's also nice but different.
Hmm.
Like more like an abyss in the back, you know. Yeah, one of the nice things to do is like just work with one light and see how you can move it and create
Yeah.
like this
Yeah.
sort of feeling with it. Because that's at the end of the day, that's the most important part. Like, how do you feel about it, and what do you want to reach with those feelings? Or
Hmm.
do you want it to be like scary or moody or more cinematic, let's say? And then you can always add more lights, but always really careful with it.
Yeah.
But one thing that works is like adding a contrast color. Like
Hmm.
you have complementary colors. Like for example, blue and orange go. Like it's one
Hmm.
of the more known combinations. But they work really great together. And never like you never do it like this. Like yeah, blue and orange. You know that won't work. But I mean like little accents and trying to create like some more subtle
Hmm.
color changes within the scene. Like a little bit of orange, or like just put it on the character. If this would be a character,
Mm, yeah.
like
Yeah, good
this, for
point.
example, you would create like these more
Hmm.
cinematic looking pieces really easily. Like this is all like done in 2 minutes, of course. It's not gonna look the same as
Yeah,
you spend like
definitely.
5 hours, for example. But yeah, the more detail you add, the more um, lights you add, the more
Hmm.
whatever you do, like with techniques you can learn online. It's always like good to start with the basic composition and know where you want to go to. Because if you like switch the camera angle every time you do something new, you're also gonna have to add more details in this specific spot. And then
Yeah.
when those details are there, you're gonna be stuck quicker because like, oh, I did this whole part and I want to move the camera here, but it's like an empty space. So it's yeah,
But like in that case, because sometimes it sounds really easy. So, oh yeah, I already created the artwork. Let me just animate it. But like sometimes, depending on the camera move, you might also have to add more details, right?
yeah. But mostly, I think yeah, in the beginning for sure. Like
Hmm.
I think especially with the scene we talked about, like that blew up the first time. It was just a guy standing in the street like with these assets even. Um, and then whenever I went to animate it, I made like this camera movement from left to right, and I added like these flying cars on top of it. But it's also like you have to add more details, but you also have some more time to think about it.
Yeah,
And it's also
definitely.
like a
Yeah.
nice way to bring a scene alive, like how
Hmm.
to tell a story with it as well. Like, is it like a dead city? Is it like alive? Is it like maybe just uh, did some like did a bomb just drop? Like you always can create more things with the feeling. Like the collab we did,
Hmm.
it's a guy running. If it would just be a still, there wouldn't be an explosion. Like
Yeah, definitely.
it's a nice way to start storytelling, and I think that's also something I want to gravitate more towards, like with my future projects, like create more longer animations and more
Hmm.
cinematic scenes, and maybe finally step away from the real ratio. You know, like the yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really like that format, like, but it's
Yeah,
something that
same.
works,
Yeah.
so you kind of have to stick with it. Since like when you have to turn your phone, it would look so much better, but
Hmm.
also so much people would just like scroll
Yeah.
past it. It's like a sacrifice. Like I want to start doing more of those,
Mhm.
and maybe I'll do it on a different platform or like do it for myself only. Because recently I've been exporting my renders like in wider angles too,
Mhm.
like more cinematic aspect ratio, like 2000 by 1000 or something. Which is great. Like it looks more cinematic. It has more like it gives me a more rewarding feeling to see a piece like that than a piece like this. So yeah, I think I'll find a way to bring that to my audience as well. Try to support maybe with wallpapers or something like a Patreon. I don't know yet. I'll figure it out. But
Nice. Yeah, or maybe like a YouTube channel.
yeah, maybe.
So it's
Who
like
knows? Yeah.
YouTube is always great to post like 21 by 9 or 16 by 9
Yeah,
formats. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
Um, nice. I think what would also be interesting would be like, so now you created the scene, right?
Hmm.
I can also see the wet concrete texture.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I quickly want to ask, do you often use displacement for the ground to add more details or?
Um, I used to do that a lot,
Mhm,
especially with whenever I didn't have the resources for Kit Bash and all those things, like
mhm.
because it's quite expensive to buy a pack of Kit Bash
Yeah.
or subscribe to Cargo at least. It's it's a lot of money actually,
Mm,
but it's worth it for me. Like I like it, I enjoy it. But yeah, back in the day, I would use displacement maps quite often. Um, because it's a easy instant detail.
mhm.
Like if you layer,
Definitely,
especially
yeah.
if you layer it, like if I would have this concrete floor and I would add like a displacement of like stones, I could basically like add the full thing we see now, full of stones with one click, by example. Um,
Yeah, and also like this texture, for example, looks already great, but
yeah,
sometimes with just a flat texture, you get like the bad video game kind of look.
yeah,
And by adding
100%.
displacements, or like even here by adding these puddles, you immediately make it so much higher quality.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially these pedal setups. Like it's from a YouTube video like that takes like 1 minute or something. It's
Mhm.
super
Yeah,
basic, but it
and
does
once you
so
have it,
much.
you can
Like
always
yeah,
like
I
copy it
was always
to
so
another
confused, and a
project.
friend of mine showed it to me. He's like, yeah, it's just this tutorial. I'm like, what, really? And yeah, I think it was Bright Raven, but yeah, thanks again,
Nice.
Raven. It was yeah, it's great. And then yeah, because if I take it away, it's different. Like it's not the same. Like the vibe is gone.
Yeah.
It's just like a regular. Yeah, look at the difference. It's wild. So yeah, those small things can create so many more details and make a normal render to like an actual decent render. And I
Mhm.
think the same goes for post. Like I'm not the best at post processing at all, but some people really work with like the most basic scene. They render it like in like 5 seconds because it's a really basic scene.
Yeah.
But what they do in post, they like with photo bashing maybe even and all those
Yeah,
kind of things
that's
really
crazy.
brings it to the next level. That's why I'm also like I try to learn more like diverse ways of doing art. Like
Mhm.
um I recently started drawing a little bit, like on a Wacom and like some drawing
Nice.
software, and try to do like concept art and maybe
Mhm.
even sculpt some more in the future and stuff, like just to get some more like perspective of things. I think that's a really good way to push yourself. Also, like
Cool, yeah,
you will learn more
definitely.
things super easily. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm also I also challenged myself to sketch more. I bought
yeah,
like a small sketchbook.
yeah, it's
And
cool.
yeah, like
I like it too.
sometimes
Yeah.
small things like that can also really help.
It's also like you don't have to be at your PC to do something, right? Like
Yeah,
for example, if you go on a vacation, you can just take your tablet
definitely. Yeah,
and
it's so
draw a full
powerful.
piece and come home and make it in
Yeah.
3D. So yeah, it's super cool. Same goes with music, dude. Like
Mm.
if you like, I still make music once in a while,
Mhm.
not very often, but
Nice.
I never release it. It's just like on my own. But it's great because like if you feel like you're like creative block again, you can just jump in any software, try to make something, and maybe
Mm.
those notes or that melody will spark something else to make, and you can start a new scene and maybe get going for the next day. That's always great to switch like things you do. Yeah,
Nice.
it's nice.
Yeah, I think let's go to how you do the post processing. Maybe first you can like what are your basic or like your default render settings? I think that will maybe also be interesting.
How they look? Yeah, I'll pull my little folder.
So for render, maybe just quickly for rendering, like before you go into post, um,
Oh yeah.
what do you like? What's the difference in your settings when you render a video versus when you render a still photo?
Oh, it's quite a big difference. Let me switch my screen again. Boom. Yeah. Um. So for example, whenever I render out a reel,
Mm-hmm.
like the quality goes down so much. Like it's always painful to, cause I just have to, like, otherwise I would wait like 20 minutes a frame.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. Like
Same. Yeah.
so yeah, first of all, I switch the resolution,
Mm-hmm.
which is, yeah, you need to, of course. But then I used to do reels at like 100%, like just to save time. But then a friend of mine told me, like, if you double the resolution and just use less samples, it's gonna be quicker and look better as well,
Yeah.
because you will have more
Yeah.
detail and the denoising is gonna look way better on it.
Yeah.
So
The denoiser works so much better.
yeah,
That's also like a really cool trick.
yeah. So shout out Mac, yeah, really helped. Then I also render out in EXR instead of
Mm-hmm.
PNGs for animations. And still, I just use PNG. I don't really care. But EXRs really help, like in the DaVinci workflow, like the Resolve
Mm-hmm.
workflow. It you can do so much more in post, like for an animation. Like you can push things way higher, like in the levels, which is great. It's also like it saves a lot more space on your device, like EXRs.
So you
Get
use
a
the DWAA, I think it's
Yeah,
called.
TWAA,
Okay, nice.
lossy, I think it's called or something. Let me check quickly. Like open EXR,
Hmm.
and then it's
Yeah,
instead
that's
of
yeah.
zip, it's TWA lossy,
Mhm.
and then float full.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
the export settings. And
What
then
color management do you use? Do you use Filmic or the new AGX?
I still use Filmic for reels.
Okay.
AJAX looks good, but I
Mhm.
also think it looks off somehow. Like a lot of people do great things with AJAX, but I just can't pull it off.
Mhm. Okay.
Um, and then my light pads are mostly like, instead of like, I normally do 8 on everything. Do this, oop,
Two.
8, and
Yeah.
then 1 for the volume, and then switch
Mhm.
this to like the combination of all of these. Yeah, 25, yeah, something like that. And then whenever I do um, reels, I just push it to 4,
Yeah, same. Yeah.
and then
Just
put this
to
one to 1 again,
just to get
and
some
then again.
faster renders.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I never use these like the caustics
Mhm.
refractive. Just turn them off.
Yeah, it's just
Volumes, you showed everyone on Instagram like a good trick with this. I don't use it always, but whenever I
mhm.
feel like I have a lot of fog, I would try to use that. Like put it to 100, I think it was, and then 128 on the max steps.
Yeah.
I can also, oop,
But yeah, like it really depends on your scene. Sometimes,
yeah,
like you have to try it out. Sometimes the volumes look very different.
yeah,
Sometimes they look exactly the same. So if they look the
exactly.
same, definitely do this because you can spare some render times. But if they look too different, yeah, it's
Yeah,
also not worth
exactly.
it sometime. Or maybe find something in between. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the simplify button really works, especially for reels. Because I would just like put this texture limit to 1024, like
Yeah.
export. Like, because no one's gonna know for a reel, especially if they're gonna look like 5 seconds and then scroll by. Like, no one's gonna care.
Yeah.
You also won't see it, especially if you have like motion blur and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
you won't notice. But for my regular post, yeah, I would just put no limit, and depending on what kind of texture I use, it would just render out those textures. Um, I never really touched the max subdivision. I don't know if you tried it, but
Mhm.
it might. I think you have to be careful with those because you don't want to decrease the subdivisions too much. But yeah, and I don't really do any color management in Blender itself. Like I don't touch these at all. Always the same.
Okay.
In
Yeah.
the beginning, I would sometimes like play with these like
Mhm.
contrasts, but I figured like whenever you use EXR, you can just do those in post. Like it's gonna look better. And then especially if you use like lights in your scene, it might. For me, it's really nice to know like if I use like 1,000,000 watts for an area light, it's gonna be this bright. But if you start playing with these, like your
Yeah.
lights
Yeah.
might like you're like, oh, why is it still so dark? Like I'm using 1,000,000 watts, and then yeah, so that's a big thing.
Okay.
Um,
Nice.
but then some people like I do use like false color sometimes, just in the
Okay.
viewport,
Yeah.
like to watch, because it will give you like these. like you can see the contrast more, I think, or like you
Mhm.
can see things in a different way, which might make you to wait, where is it again? False color. There, you can see like
Mhm.
what's the brightest spot, what's the darkest spot,
Yeah.
in a different way. Especially if it look like this. I never would render out like this, of course. Like just would look silly. Um, unless you have like a really stylized style.
Mhm.
But yeah, then the punchy and all those things. AGX looks also really cool. Like it looks super cinematic off the bat,
Yeah,
but
it's
then
it's yeah.
it's I don't know. I think
I
and
think it also like if you have something that's overexposed, I think
yeah,
it's a little
it's
bit more accurate to an actual camera.
yeah, I think
But
so too.
also, yeah. Then again, if I use HEX, I normally use medium high contrast. I think.
Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Um, but it's also like it's yeah, in the
I think
middle.
the punchy one is the one that like sells people the most because you get like these really
Yeah.
like the brights are really bright
Mm.
instead of they clip, like they just look a little bit more real, for example. But yeah, that's about
Yeah,
it
it's
for me.
fun playing around, but
Yeah, you
like
can do whatever.
most of the color work will probably be in post afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I apparently also saw people do like filmic log, which is
Oh,
something like with
yeah,
the camera, like if you have like cinematic camera, they also would give you like a log
yeah. If you film
LOG
like
color
S log,
profile.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and then convert to Rec 709. But I didn't do it for 3D things yet. I might try out in the future. Then one big thing for me is like it really saves me sometimes is like the dialing. Like for
Mm.
example, whenever I have like a scene where my GPU just doesn't handle it, if you put this to like 265 or 128, you can really get like the smaller tiles, and it might render faster. Not always though, but it will
Mm.
allow your PC to actually render it. Just to save some GPU memory or any of
Yeah,
those things.
yeah.
And then with Reels, like if you do like the low resolution,
Mm.
no high resolution, low sample version, if you lower these, you might get like 40 seconds a frame, which is great for me. Like if it's normally 2 minutes and you go to 40 seconds, that's amazing. Like it's a
Mm.
big game changer.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I do in my
Nice.
render settings. The
Yeah,
main
let's.
thing just comes from like intentional lighting,
Mm.
having great assets or like great
Nice,
models
yeah.
if you model them yourself. And then that always will always carry the render. And then you just add like the 1% of the 99% in post, or some people do like 80% render, 20% post, but yeah, I try to do 1%. But if I show you the render I did today, for example,
Mm-hmm.
the main thing is this. Just this is how it came out of Blender.
Mm-hmm.
Um, already looks good, like some sorts. Like it's a little bit flat maybe. And then if you go to the post version, it's just like these little details and the colors are way better.
Yeah, can you go back
Um,
and forth again? But yeah,
but I'll
that's
just
crazy. The difference is like it's on one side it's not much, but it goes a long way.
yeah, it goes a long
Yeah,
way.
it gives like
Um,
the finishing touch, like the cherry on top.
yeah. So this is Topaz. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really use Photoshop. Like I really should start using Photoshop, but
Mm-hmm.
I still stick to Topaz. This is like it's really distinct. Like you can do a lot of random stuff with it as well that you wouldn't see in Photoshop, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But most of it is just the same, different layout, right? I will disable all of these. I never really know what I'm doing, to be honest, in post. Like, I always try to find new ways of making things look good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always like the right thing to do, probably. It's just like me playing around and having fun. But I always start with like a vignette, like
Mm-hmm.
these kind of. It just
To
puts the
to put
focus
the
more to the middle.
focus, yeah,
Yeah,
put the
exactly.
focus more in the middle.
And then I might add like a curve to just like push the white values a little bit more. The reason why this one's like so far here and it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
really affect the scene the most, like the opacity is just like toned
Oh
down a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, okay.
And like you can find a nice balance within this, but
Mm-hmm.
like I said, this might not be the right way to do it, but that's how I do it. I also like sometimes play with like these different blending
Mm,
modes
yeah.
just to get something more cinematic and
Mm-hmm.
more like
Yeah, that's so interesting.
less rendery, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then the focal blur, I didn't really use it. You can. Yeah,
Hmm.
also like create more contrast with some sort of things, like whenever you want to do with it. It's really slightly, just like push it a little bit further in a
Hmm.
different way than the curves, for example. Then adding some texture on top of it really does a lot. This might be like just like a paper texture, and
Hmm.
this is the main part why I keep using Topaz. Like they have like so many
Hmm.
textures like
Yeah,
inside of this program, and
that's
it's
cool.
super
Yeah.
cool. Because you can just like change the blending mode again, change the opacity, and
Hmm.
then you won't even notice it, but it will give like this more grungy feel to the whole piece
Yeah, and
super
also
quickly.
like some small details without having to
Yeah,
render it
exactly.
or having longer render times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then the color themes, you have like all these color presets you can go through, and I don't know, like I never use them a lot, and if I do, I don't use them as intended. Like this
Hmm.
is like a preset they would call it,
Okay. Yeah.
which is fine, or like a LUT maybe.
Hmm.
I never like it in general, but I like to play with the color blends and
Hmm.
see what it would do. Like, because some would just really ruin your picture like this, like it wouldn't look good at all. Then if you
Hmm.
switch to one that looks cool, you might get like a more cinematic look. Where this looks great as well, you
Yeah,
know.
that's
It
really
is a
cool.
more unorthodox way to do things.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's one way.
Yeah, it's
And then you have
always very interesting to see like how everyone does it a little bit differently.
yeah, and then I
Yeah.
added an extra curve. Yeah, exactly. Everyone, I think no one does it like in one way. It's all like
Hmm.
trial and error, and maybe get some bad habits along the way, but always something that's useful for you and it will be
Yeah.
unique to
Yeah.
you. And it will also be some sort of like your own style, for
Yeah.
example.
That's also what I want to say. It also helps to develop your own look,
Yeah,
and yeah,
exactly. I
nice.
think like if you would say like how do you get uh your look like it's a U render, like maybe a Florin animation or
Hmm.
an S still. For me, the thing that sells it the most, I didn't use it for this one, but normally I always use this one a little bit. Like precision contrast. I have no idea what it does. Like it's just like a micro contrast or something.
Hmm.
Whenever I push this, like the
Oh yeah,
details
yeah.
get set so clean. It's not
That's
even clean.
crazy.
It's like
Yeah,
they
that's
just drank
crazy.
it out. And then you can again play with the overlays and all those sort of things.
Hmm.
But this one I mostly set to normal and then play with the opacity a bit
Hmm.
until it's like just my touch, I think. So yeah, that's the main thing. And then at the end, I usually always add like these little dust
Hmm.
texture. It's,
Nice.
I mean, it doesn't look great, but it's also like a little touch to it.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's all I do. Um,
Nice.
I might, because I do mostly upload from my phone.
Hmm.
So once in a while, I have like Lightroom on my phone, and I
Hmm.
might like during the day, because mostly I do like the post processing I will do in the morning. Um, and then in the middle of the day, I just open the picture in Lightroom and see like, do I want to change the colors a little bit? Like, do I
Oh yeah,
maybe
that's a
want to
good
give
way.
like the hues a little bit more push or something? But yeah, it's always good to have like a little reflection moment before I upload. Sometimes it's totally different. Like I would maybe push the sky more to the blue and be
Hmm.
like, okay, it's
Yeah.
nice. But it's good to like look back on it and having like a second opinion yourself before posting something that you like. Because I think every time you make something, you will always think it's the best thing ever. Like especially in the beginning, if you're
Hmm.
working by yourself and nobody gives feedback, you're like, whoa, I just made something really nice. Like
Hmm.
it's my best work ever. And then like whenever you show it to someone, you will immediately go like, oh, no, maybe it's not that good. Like, no, I don't
Yeah.
like it as much. So it's really good for yourself to create like this habit of like looking back at it again, like
Hmm.
an hour or two later, if you have like a a white brain, let's say, like you have a fresh look.
Yeah.
Same goes for music.
Definitely.
Like it's really important to step away and go touch some grass and be yeah, be able to just have a second look.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's also cool because then you can see your personal growth, you can see your skills developing,
yeah,
and
exactly.
yes,
Yeah. So
thank you so much for sharing.
yeah, no worries. I think that's also like a
Um,
main thing about Instagram. Like
mhm.
you post things and you gradually see yourself grow as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And so many I don't know who like said it before, but whenever you like Instagram is so diverse with so many or ArtStation even like so many
Mhm.
amazing artists post something every day, and whenever you scroll through it, um, they all show like their best work, kind of, right? Like They all spend like maybe, especially with like ArtStation, like 2 or 3 months on a piece maybe, and then that day you see it and you see another one and another one, like from all these different artists. And it's so easy to bring yourself down and be like, oh no, I'm not good enough, or like, oh no,
Yeah.
this is not what I want to do. Or like I want to be there, but it's not working out. Like this one person, I don't know the name. I should find out the name. But he said like, look back at the work you did a year ago, and you will immediately see yourself like in a different light and bring yourself down. Because if you look back at it, so like for everyone who works like a lot on creative things or like art itself, there will be so much difference. Like it's almost not going to be the same person, right? Because a year is like a long time. It's also like 365 days of artwork. So that's crazy. It's really nice. So
Yeah,
Instagram is
and
great.
I always say people just start uploading. Like, it doesn't have to be Instagram. It can also be ArtStation, YouTube, or
Yeah,
whatever. But just start uploading it, because first of all, like, it's uploaded and it has a timestamp, and like,
yeah,
first of all, it's cool for yourself because you can go through it and see it again. But it's also cool for other people to see your progress, to see how far you've come from the beginning. Like, even just scrolling down on your Instagram to the bottom is so interesting to see, like, where you started.
yeah.
Um,
It's
so
kind of
yeah,
funny. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's
but
it's a ride for sure, and I think it's gonna be a even longer ride in the future. But I'm hyped. It's gonna be fun. Gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I think you will too. So
yes,
hyped to see what you bring out soon, man. So
mhm.
maybe we do another collab soon.
Yeah,
Maybe Nightfall.
definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely we have to do one in the future.
yeah.
Like, even if I look back on our collab, I
Mhm.
already have so many things I would do differently.
Yeah, same. I think we talked about it as well. Like
Yeah.
the moment you upload or like the moment you
Yeah.
start the render, you're like, ah, I can change this and this and this. But I mean, you have
But
to
yeah,
let go at some point,
yeah,
right?
it's
Like
also
you
part of
can't.
the journey.
Yeah, exactly. Just
But
keep it
yeah,
in mind and
mhm,
and do it in the next
definitely.
project, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you don't have anything else, I think we can come to an end here.
Yeah, I think so too. It was a great talk, man. And
Yeah.
thanks for having me again.
Thank you so much for
Um,
joining, and
yeah, you're welcome.
yeah, wish
If
you
you
the
want to do this in the
best and
future
much
again,
success.
let me
Sorry?
know. If you want to do this in the future again, like let
Yeah,
me know.
definitely.
Always happy. Maybe in a year or so.
And
So
yeah, wish you the best of
yeah, you too, man.
success with your Instagram and with your animation. Really looking forward to what you will create next. And yes, wish you a great evening.
Yeah, you too, man. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much for watching until the end, and I hope you could learn something. Also, let me know in the comments if you have any more questions, and also let me know who you want to have on Behind the Art next. Again, check out my paid community with the link in the description if you want to support my free tutorials here on YouTube and also this new format, but also if you want to get better and get guidance from me and access to more exclusive tutorials and also my courses. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon.